Are you there?
I am here. How are you doing tonight?
Look at that. This might be the first successful first attempt ever. Sorry about the
Yeah.
background until I get that green background, like her keeps saying and Mike keeps saying that you're going to catch me looking like a ghost, but it is what it is. It's our show. I'll do what I want.
All
What's
right. So,
going
hey,
on, big guy?
Big Sis is listening in.
What is going on?
Hi, guys,
Hey,
here. Hello,
hey,
everybody.
bud.
Welcome on this
Garden,
fine and glorious day.
Garden Jess. That's my older sister by help me out, sis. 10 months, 11 months, and then we got that high guy. Hurt and I play with him. We play some Call of Duty. We got some fun stuff that I bet 99% of you do not know or are aware of, and we're going to have fun with it. Uh, I'm gonna let Hurt start off. We're going to try and do something new. He's going to pick a topic. I'm going to pick a topic, and Hurt's topic tonight is
The fifth plane?
love it.
The fifth plane.
Speak loud and speak strong, and watch these people go. Oh man.
Well, Scott sent me down a rabbit hole, and I did some researching, watched some shows, read some articles. We all wear 9/11 four planes. What was never reported and talked about was the fifth plane. There was a fifth plane that never took off that had suspicion written all over it.
Flight 23.
Flight 23, you're correct. Uh, there was people in first class that didn't make sense. They didn't want special foods, the fruit. They didn't want to wait. They wanted the plane to take off now.
Quote, we don't care about meals. Get this plane off the ground.
Correct. They wanted it off the ground. They had two other suspects of interest in coach. One was sweating profusely. His whole body was just sweating. So something was wrong there. They had another one that was just suspicious. What was it, Scott? The plane that was sitting next to them?
It was
The
one marker off. So it was either flight 20, it was 20, the tail marker was one number off.
One number off, but on the plane next to them, they found two box cutters in the seat, pouches behind the seat. So that was a mistake. The buildings, the other planes had hit the buildings, so they grounded all the planes. Luckily, that morning, traffic wasn't heavy at that airport. I mean, it was heavy. Usually, it's not. Usually, it's not heavy, and they take off pretty quick. But they had like 5 or 6 planes in front of them.
12, actually, 12.
12, and they couldn't take off. Thank you. And so they went back to the terminal, deplaned, shut everything down. Then eyewitnesses had people running through the plane. And what was open?
Yeah.
What was open? The hatch behind the
hatch in the belly from the tarmac was wide open. So somebody hopped up in that plane.
Well, yes. I think from what I'm reading, Scott, and to be totally truthful about this, from what I've read and understood, I bet you those people were already in that plane. They were underneath where all electronics, where the communications, everything works. They were hidden in there.
Hoping for what, Hurt? That it actually took off.
When it took off, they were going to take over.
Correct.
Now, the pilot was warned by the tower, and it was a male and a female pilot, and the head pilot, the man, gave the female co-pilot a fire extinguisher to knock whoever in the head, and then he took the axe. They got
he took the fire axe. Yes, he did.
Yes, the fire axe, just in case. But then they got back. And like I said, they shut down the plane. And then they seen people running through the plane after everybody deboarded. And the hatch behind the pilot's cockpit was open inside the plane, and the bottom hatch was also open.
Correct.
So they seen two running from the top of the plane inside. Now, how many got out from the bottom they didn't see?
So that alone, let me stop hurting. I'm gonna let him finish. But y'all, that alone, the fact that they later on the FBI, they did find box cutters in the back of seats. They found the hatches open. They seen things that are abnormal, right? For those, I mean, I've got over 1 million miles under my belt flying, but those of us that travel understand that planted razor blades and hatches and security protocols being broken. This is not a fluke. This is not conspiracy, because we didn't say, we're not even trying to say where plane 5 went. We're going to get to that. Hurt and I got a, but this is actual events that the ladies and gentlemen that ran that crew, there was 7 of them, pilots and stewardess or stewards, that gave all this information to the FBI, and it never made the 9/11 Commission report.
Correct. They said they were rushed for time and they wanted to investigate it, but they didn't have enough time. Why? That right there doesn't make sense. If you're going to do an investigation, do the whole. I don't care if it takes 1.5 years. Do the investigation. Let's find out. And then some of the employees, because of the mental anguish they went through, didn't want to fly again.
I could not blame them.
Nope. And
after 9/11, it was real hard to get on an airplane for me.
Yes. And so they ended up suing and winning because United didn't want to pay nothing for them. But
and United also didn't support their claims. They denied talking to the FBI? They didn't. They just we got nothing to say.
But the funny thing,
their video cameras and employees, right? So if you're American Airlines and your video cameras and employees are saying the same thing, and then you say no comment to the Congress, well, now we know there's some bullshit.
There is. There's some major bullshit, and FBI only interviewed him once at the hotel, but then they brought him for a lineup, and none of the people in the lineup matched who was on that plane.
Correct.
Now, from the stewards on the plane, they had 4 in first class. One was dressed covered, supposedly a woman, but all the people swore he had hands were real hairy, the facial didn't match, even though it was real. When they wear the berserk, you usually
I don't think we have to sell this any more than that. Hurt.
You froze up, Scott. But yes, I mean, it's some people were really suspicious. Scott, you froze up for some reason, bud.
I'm back.
There you are.
Are you there?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, I must have had a cloud or something. But that's my biggest point is we don't have to sell this any further than what we just did. And this is the best 5-minute commercial ever. If y'all just go Google it and research, it was 9/11, and there was razor blades found. There's hatches open. There were Muslim looking, and the crew was worried. And what Hurt just told y'all is if it was a normal day, that 5th plane would have launched, because it was a busy day, and because that particular tower said, you know what, two buildings been hit, we're grounded and everything. I mean, there was a lot of luck involved, and there was 198 souls on that plane that are alive today because, call it biblical, call it whatever you want, but got lucky.
Got real lucky. Real lucky. So call it as you want.
Oh, my sister, Garden Jazz, she says, she said not enough time. I smell BS. You're absolutely right. She says not enough time to add it to the report. That's a cop. You're absolutely right.
Correct.
And if you Google this, sis, and anybody that's watching, um, the fifth plane, and you watch, you look at the eyes and listen to the anxiety in their voices, especially the women. But the pilot was also very passionate. They know they're alive and they're lucky, but they were pissed. And there's two congressmen and a congresswoman, I think, David, that were
Yes.
in the one video that said this should have been in a report, and they didn't even know about the fifth plane. And it's not that this matters so much to change 9/11, because nothing will ever change that. It's the fact the way our government works in times of critical thinking. Nobody thought to talk about the fifth plane when it was apparent that this should have been at least 2, 3, 4 pages in the 9/11 report. Don't you think, Ert?
I think it should have been more than that. I think there's a lot left out. And what was that plane's target?
Well, you and I talked in behind what we call behind the scenes talk. You got the
Yes.
Pennsylvania flight, and you got the fifth flight. We have to assume, if you're intelligent, that one of them was pointed to D.C. towards the White House.
Correct.
And I offered to Hurt that probably both of them were to target the White House to ensure that it did get hit. I don't know. He doesn't know. None of us know. But the fact that this is a story only helps future stories that him and I are going to talk about, Building 7 and how 9/11 happened and blah blah blah. That crew and those passengers are extremely lucky because they were part of the plot.
They were part of the plot. And you just mentioned Building 7.
He hates me
That
for
is
doing that.
so deep. So deep. Scott put me on this, what, week and a half ago? You
It
mentioned
wasn't long, and you did your research.
And I still got so much research to do. It is mind-boggling.
You want to try?
Man,
Listen, y'all. Hurt and I. Hurt's real big on this, and we've said it. We don't want to talk about things and say things that we can't back up. So let's talk about what we can back up, right? Not speculating, just facts, right?
okay.
Because I really want to get to my topic, but this is more fun than my topic. So Building 7, right? As the two towers came down, the entire world's paying attention. They're not really watching, smoke mirrors type stuff. A day or two before this attack, $2 trillion came up missing out of our funds. And some people didn't go to work. A lot of people didn't go to work at Building 7. And then the two towers came down, right? And also, by the way, there was some Clinton material in Building 7 that was going to be used in court in front of Congress. And all of a sudden, two buildings came down, and the whole world did what? Watched smoke, right? Smoke. Two towers come down, all, including me. And none of us paid attention to Building 7 collapsing. And then with my research, Building 7 supposedly collapsed because of office furniture fires and debris from the two towers. And I call bullshit. And there's a zillion engineers and other people out there. There are buildings all around the country, and I've done it, and I showed her, and he did it, all across the world that burnt for days and didn't collapse. But Building 7,
buildings too.
right?
There are bigger buildings that
47 stories
yes.
in Great Britain. And
And
people live in that building right now. They've redrawn it. They've painted it. It never fell, right? So without going on a tangent, I'm going to, though. Sorry for partying. So when those planes hit, the fuel got burned up in seconds, right? The fuel don't just sit on the ground or in a bucket or in the air. It's the first thing to burn up, right? So fuel didn't cascade down to Building 7. Maybe some fiery objects fell down and caught some furniture, office furniture on fire. whatnot, but nothing really substantial caused damage to Building 7. But 7 hours after the two towers fell, Building 7 did what? Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And that was a day or two after $2 trillion American money coming up missing, which tells me that I'm not saying the government or the president or whatever office. I'm just telling you, somebody within the United States government knew we were going to be attacked, and they used this as an opportunity to get rid of stealing $2 trillion, covering up Clinton bullshit, and CIA bullshit. There's no other reason why that perfectly strong building decided to collapse upon itself again. Pancake theory.
Can I say something in this?
Please do. Please do.
If you watch the video of the Twin Towers collapsing, the top collapsed down. The bottom stayed. The top collapsed, come down, and then the whole building went down.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch Building 7 collapse, the whole building came down at the same time.
Like this.
Yep.
And upon itself.
Now, they're saying that there's 3 main beams on one side that gave way, and there's a penthouse on the top that had all the cooling systems and all that, and that gave, and that put a creak in it, and that's why it came down like it did. But that's false, because you had other structural beams on the right-hand side that were not hurt. And a fire is not going to get hot enough from furniture, paper, stuff like that to melt those steel beams. I'm sorry, but just watch a video on how the Twin Towers collapsed, then watch the video of Tower 7 collapsing. Totally different.
I'll even go one leg further and say, prior to 9/11, I remember as a kid and a juvenile seeing engineers and blow up buildings, right? We all have seen it, right? Throughout history in this country, all the old buildings got to go. Watch some old video or even current video, if you can find a building they're going to demo, but old demolition videos, 80s, 90s, right before 9/11, buildings collapsed the same way. So when 9/11 happened, I remember my dad, God bless your soul, Pop, was right next to me. And we happened to be sitting on the largest chemical rail yard in the country. And we looked out, we seen FBI agents watching the trussels and the bridges. And he says, you know, son, if you're hitting the ribs on the right side, your body does what? Hurt? Leans that direction, correct? And then the other building, and I'm using punches and ribs, was hit from this side, and it should have been leaning that way. What WTF? Those buildings, how did they collapse? Hurt? Did they lean?
No.
Or did they go boom, 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 boom?
They went boom, 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 boom.
Makes zero sense. You'll never convince me. This is one of my best friends, y'all. And if he was saying to me, right, pancake theory, I'd hit the delete button and end this show right now, because he knows he can't convince me. It's not that he believes against me, but he knows where I'm coming from, and I hope that most of you are paying attention. This or that, not pancake. Impossible. Impossible, because 2 buildings of the same stature fell the same effing way, and then the third building fell the same effing way. So 3 buildings that burnt and had structural damage fell the same way. One didn't have damage, and the other 2 had opposite torso damage, but they all 3 fell.
Well, no, I'm going to disagree. 2 fell a certain way, and then the third one fell another way. The 2 towers, if you watched it, the tops collapsed. But then, like you said, it comes straight down, not leaning left, not leaning right, but the top actually collapsed first, and then it just went straight to the bottom. On building 7, like I said, the bottom and top all went down at the same time.
Just in a perfect little.
I mean, just like,
we've seen casinos in Vegas get blown up that way.
Yep, we
right?
have.
Why? Because the new casino is going to get built, so we got to bring her down.
Well, you've seen it in Lake Charles, one of the big buildings, Lake Charles, they demoed last year. Boom, same way building 7 went down. And then there was people that heard explosions, but they're not saying there's explosions. Correct. Nobody will say there's explosions, but people heard explosions.
Well, there's lots of video and interviews out there where some old timers with cancer and or just age dying said, I was in those buildings, especially building 7. There's at least 7 videos of some janitorial, because they had skeleton crews for 3 days, right? I'm not saying Americans were behind it, 9/11 attacks, but what I'm saying is once they were aware it was happening, I personally, not her, but I personally believe that somebody in the CIA or whatever said, well, we might as well use that as a smoke and mirrors attempt because we really need, we're trying to steal $2 trillion and Clinton's in trouble. And there's a lot of CIA information in that building 7 that's supposed to come in front of Congress. And so that's a trifecta. Instead of alarming and telling Bush, the president, the government, the country, how about we use this as an opportunity to clean up our BS? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Bush is guilty. I'm not saying America is guilty, but I am saying there were Americans that knew that those towers were going to get hit, and then they took it upon themselves to smoke and mirror building 7, and you cannot prove me wrong.
Agreed. I'll agree with you on that. 100%. Well, that's 2 good little topics we just had little skits on that we can do whole shows on these topics. Actually,
we're probably going to.
We will. We'll just breaking it. Let y'all do some research, and then we can come back and discuss it.
There's my sister, and I told her, I agree. You know me, and I'm saying Americans were involved, and I'm telling you, and her knows I'm a huge patriot, but patriot doesn't mean lie or scandal. I agree. So you keep them distracted, and they won't ask. You're absolutely right, and we're going to get into something right now here in a second. I agree. Is it we want to stay on this topic, or we want to jump to my topic?
Let's go to your topic, because I think a lot of people are going to be shocked about your topic. So that really just don't realize. So I'm going to let you have as much floor as you need to talk about this, because I know you're just raring to go on this.
Listen, I am super patriotic. I'm not going to sit here and sell myself on a commercial, but I got pages of this. And I'm going to start with this. I'm going to be as passionate as I can. I'd take 4 shots of Crown or whatever and cry with y'all right now. But remember, right before I talk about this, remember 9/11, where you were at, how you felt, and how the country came together. Because fast forward 1 generation, anybody that was 10 years old or younger or not even born yet doesn't understand the emotional attachment to 9/11. Right? They don't understand. So they could care 2 shits, right? Let's just say 2 shits. Ma'am Donnie, right? And I'm not out here to just beat up people because I don't like the other 2 candidates either. But Ma'am Donnie is a Muslim. And I'm not bashing Muslims, but I kind of am. And I'm not meaning it hatefully, but in the city of New York, where 9/11 happened, I would have thought this would be the last place this would happen. But now you have, he's part of the socialists of America. That's fact. You can look that up. You can fact check me. I call him a communist, but let's just call him a socialist, right? He's Muslim. He was not born here. He was not educated here. And for all you supporters of Ma'am Donnie, he was raised rich and his daddy was prominent and his mommy was prominent. And then he comes to New York and he starts supporting Muslim and Islamic and terror type activities and constituents that are running for particular offices, whether it be councils or Senate or Congress. I'm not saying I hate the guy, but I'm saying I hate the guy, right? What I can, and Hurt has seen me on the Patriot Hour. Hurt and I've talked about this on the phone. Most of you probably have thought yourself that are old enough to appreciate 9/11. What in the F is New York City thinking, trying to elect a young man that has never served a day in real office or military, held a gun, understands our Constitution because he wasn't born here. And by the way, his mom and dad preached to him, and his leaders that raised him, I guess you would say, taught him to hate America and hate Israel, is now the Democratic nominee in New York City. And I can speak for myself. I know my counterpart will sit here and nod his head. What are y'all thinking? And then Mandani said it the other day. He thanked the youth in New York City for getting him nominated. And you have to watch. He specifically said, this young generation gets it. He's appealing to them and then rewarding them, because that's how you win over people, right? I'll give you free shit. And then as soon as you start supporting me, oh, they're great. And that's what the youth is susceptible to, that, right? You gave me something and then you told me I was great. That's youth. We all have had children or grandchildren or whatever. That's what they needed to hear. And that's how he got his support. And if y'all think I'm crazy, this is exactly how the extremists get support on both sides. First, they give you something, whether it's an ideal or something physical. And then they, instead of thanking you for taking it, they compliment you for being smart enough to take the path. So if you're questioning, well, how did this Muslim guy get so much power so quick? He promised free shit, which appeals to a lot of people. And then as soon as a lot of people said, I'll support you, he didn't say thank you. He commended them and gave them the win. That's how you get support when you're trying to be radical. So if I wanted to be radical, I would promise a bunch of shit. And then if I was able to succeed, I would not take any credit for it. I'd give it all back to the youth, right? You don't see 50 and 60 and 70 and 80-year-old people supporting this guy. I mean, some, but not at the percentages that the youth are, because they're bred on free. So let's get into Ma'am Donnie. And I love saying Ma'am Donnie because I'd love to debate him. Hell, I'd love to box him. So he's a DSA member.
Hold on. Did you say you just love to box him?
Well, I would.
He can't even bench press 100 pounds.
I don't think he's ever tried to bench press anything.
He did. He couldn't do it. He had to get that Spartan to help him get off of him. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Not to interrupt you. That was funny.
So he's a member of the Socialists of America, Democratic Socialists of America, and that's fact. And again, I'm only, and David, if you catch me saying something wrong, stop me. Y'all can Google this and do your own research. But he is a member and a sitting board member of the Democrat Socialists of America, or yes, Socialists. He calls for the destruction of Israel 7 times since he became prominent. I'm not saying last week. I'm not saying today. I am saying that could have been 1 or 2 of them. But you go back and you look, 7 times since he was prominent enough to be in front of a camera and be recorded, he has called for the destruction of Israel. Problem number 1. Students for Justice in Palestine 3 times in the last 4 months, he has used that phrase, SJP. And if you think I'm wrong, Google it. Man, ma'am, pardon me, ma'am, Donnie, at least 3 times to this guy's witness has said, screw Israel and justice for Palestine. And so he started this group, SJP, Students for Justice in Palestine. So problem number 2. Now, none of these 2 bother me that bad, although me they do. But for the average American middle road guy, well, that's only 2. Scott, okay, let's go. So, historic win, October 7th. And I'm going to use quotes. He literally said 2 weeks after October 7th, the attacks on Israel, it was a historic win. Google me, prove me wrong. You're not going to. He did say it. And if as David and I get better, we'd be able to click and give you that video. But a historic win. So he's super pro Hamas. He called for armed confrontations against Jews in America on college campuses. But he was also joined by AOC and other crazies, right? So World War II happened, Hitler happened, 7, 8, 9, 10 million Jews died, 62 million people died on the earth. And we find ourselves in America electing, or at this point in time, nominating a guy that's okay with all those views. So we've gone full circle. So that's problem number 3 and or 4, probably even 5 at this point, because I'm getting real sick before I get to page 2. So, and now you got WOL, pro-Palestine, led by, I can't pronounce his name. I tried, Shaker Nadeem Kizwami. And this guy helped him start WOL. Google it. Not going to be able to show it to you. David can't show it. Maybe soon. Again, technical difficulties. We're learning. But the WOL and Mandani, and this guy promoted and pushed Mandani. And then so in return, Mandani said Nerdeen, and that's how you, I guess, Nerdeen, Kisami was pushing and glorifying violence against Jews on campuses. And if you do some more research, like I just showed on the Patreon the other day, George Soros's money and the Tides Foundation is also involved in this. Page 2. So who is Mandani? Who is he? My wife asked me, who is he? You should do a show on who he is. Well, he started as a privileged, rich young boy, mom and dad, both career people. They got money. Mom's a movie director and dad was a professor, I believe at Columbia. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Columbia. He's been an assemblyman. He was elected New York City, one of the boroughs assembly. Never had a real job. He can't tell you. And if I was Cuomo or whoever else is going against him, the Republican with the beret, what have you ever done? Have you ever hit a nail? Have you ever turned a screw? Have you pumped gas? No. He's a career rich kid that loves communism and socialism, by the way. Who benefits socialism, communism? The top, the rich. So he's telling everybody, oh, we need to change to be socialist. But all of you that vote for me are going to be like slaves, and I'm still going to be rich. Free is what he keeps saying. Free healthcare, free subways, free daycare. He's going to get elected. And that's what sucks, is because he's locked up the young generation in New York City.
But nothing's for free.
You and I know that.
But
Every time somebody says free, the lazy, the weak, and pathetic are like, that's my guy or gal. Why? Because free sounds great. But free is never free.
No.
So then he says he wants to match. And this is the most interesting point that I have tonight, because you can just go and look at New Jersey. He literally said in a rally, when they said, how are you going to pay for all this free stuff? I thought, shit. Well, I'm going to match New Jersey's tax rate. So whether you've been following or not, people and businesses have been leaving New Jersey by the droves. And this ain't me telling you that. That is fact. This has been all over the real news, in my opinion. Glenn Beck just had a big story on it. New Jersey has the highest corporate tax in the country. And they're shocked. Their governor, and that race over there is pretty tight, but their governor was shocked that they're at the bottom of the list of corporations wanting to be in their state. Well, I'm confused. And then so he's born in Uganda, 1991. So he's not a U.S. born citizen. His father is a Columbia professor. His mother is a filmmaker. Like I said, he started the College Students for Justice of Palestine. In 2018, he became a citizen. In 2018, he became a citizen. So we're talking, what, 7 years ago? He just now is a citizen. And he works and volunteers for numerous Muslim politicians. So in 7 years ago, he became a citizen. But prior to that, he was working against American constitutionalists and our rights and our freedoms. So, folks, I don't care if you don't like my facts. I don't care if you like my demeanor. My point is, he was raised a rich, spoiled, socialist bitch. And he's been here long before 2017, spewing his bogus bullshit, telling people, you need to be socialist, you need to be communist, you need to think about. He was not even a citizen, and he started picking up steam. And Hurt knows what I'm about to say. The reason why this guy is so entertaining to some Americans is because free and lazy and weak does appeal to about 20 to 30% of the people.
I'll debate that. The way the country's going, I'd say it'd be more upper percentage of that. You know, and this all leads back, Scott, and I'm not changing the subject. What it leads back to is when I was a kid, when I played sports, and it starts early now, and this is the mindset of these new generation. If I lost a game, I lost a game.
Right.
The only way I can get better is if I improve. And then I might get a trophy. They're raised now, whether you come in last place, you still get a participation trophy.
You're so great. You're so special.
Yes. And then they go to college, and you don't have to work for this. This is owed to you. This all is owed to you.
Right.
And that's where his popularity comes in, because that's his base he's dealing with. Not the people like you and me who've been working since we were seventh grade.
So here's how I look at it. Like, I'm not Republican. I'm not. And I used to say I was, but since I've met you and we've been going down these paths, me, you, Mike, whatever, and then life, I've learned that I'm a constitutionalist and I'm actually kind of liberal, right? So there's two types of people that you're automatically going to get once you say what color you are, whether you're red or blue, right? If the red says war, and capitalism, they're going to capture 20-25% of the population immediately, right? The swamp for their side. If the blue, when they do say it, and they always do, everybody that lives on the system and gets shit for free, automatically they're going to get 20-25% of the blue. My goal, and I know your goal is, I hope my sister's goal is, I hope the whole country's goal is, and you and I explored this relatively new, Hurt, get over our shit and practice the 80% rule, right? I don't like the far left. I don't like the far right. And I know both of them don't like each other. So why not just concentrate on the shit we can fix? And the shit we can fix is there is no free shit. There isn't. Because if Hurt is disabled, but I know he can walk and bend over, but he's got some problems. And he'd say this to me. Maybe I'd vote for him to be disabled. But if he has the ability to go to the park and pick up trash 8 hours a week, 12 hours a week, or paint a curb, or stand at a school crossing with a sign, surely he could do that, right? You know what the left, extreme left, don't like? And the extreme right do the same thing with gun rights and shit. They bitch about dumb shit. They're not smart like me. How about we just ask that person, all right, you want your $1,800 a month disability, but get off your fat ass and walk down the intersection and protect kids for 1 hour a day. If you can't do that, then you better be bedridden, because if you can't do that, I'm trying to convince, not left and right, I'm trying to convince Americans that's the problem. That's the problem. I'm willing to let you be disabled. But how about you be an American? How about you be a good person? Red or blue or whatever the hell color. Or get off your ass and do something. And the minute the left or right extremists argue about, well, it hurts to get, let's talk about hurting, right? I hurt every day, but if you're going to give me free money, I'll get off my ass and go down there and help them kids with a sign, if that's all I got to do. Now, if it was up to me, you'd be doing a whole lot more than that. You'd be raking leaves, you'd be painting curbs. Don't tell me you're disabled. And I'm on a tyrant, and you got to get me off this hurt.
No, you're totally there's pros and cons of disability. As you know, my wife's on disability.
Mm-hmm. I've met her, I've talked to her, and I can see with my own eyes she's disabled.
They don't pay her crap. She don't get paid crap. So it's up to me to make the money.
Yep.
But we got people out there who are able-bodied and can work that get more money than she does. And she's worked all her life.
Yep.
And that pisses me off.
So let's talk about that real quick, Hurt. Snap. This is absolute fact, y'all. I asked for a big favor from somebody in the Indiana government, which is small enough, but I got some numbers that blew my mind away. So 24% of households in the country are on, no, I'm sorry, 12%. 12% of households in this country are on SNAP. However, ironically, they spend or buy 24.8% of the groceries in this country. So for those of you that are, well, just slow.
What did you just say? Repeat those numbers.
A very small percentage, 12%, are buying, walking out of grocery stores with 25% of what grocery stores report to the government or to the IRS, whatever, left their fucking building.
Say it ain't so.
1/4 of merchandise, mainly produce, groceries, 1/4 are bought by 12%.
Say it ain't so.
Meaning, when my wife and I went to Walmart's, and I've not been back to Walmart's, and F you, Walmart's, I don't like you, and you can sue me, whatever. I don't like you. You suck. You got 80 lanes, and you got 2 open. You suck. But the last time I was at Walmart's, my wife and I are behind 2 very large women with 2 very large carts full of groceries. And they had $800 worth of SNAP. And as they got close to 800, they asked the cashier, where are we at now? Where are we at? 790, 790. And then they got over the 800. It was 80. Well, take this back. Where are we at now? Still over 800. They wouldn't reach in their pocket and pay a quarter or $1 over their free shit. Meanwhile, my wife and I got like $100 worth of groceries. That's this much of a cart. And that woman turned around and filled that cart with the things that SNAP didn't cover and shoved it right into me and my wife. And her, you
That
already know
didn't
the
go
rest.
over good, did it?
It didn't go. So for those of you watching and listening, it didn't go over well. But the point is, 5 kids, a family of 7, when you had my wife and I, we had $100 and some odd. You had 2 carts full of groceries. And that's the point of this stat. 12% of the population are on SNAP. However, it's almost 25% of groceries that leave the stores with SNAP. That means we're allowing them to buy way too much shit. Right? We're all on budgets. There's times my wife and I are like eggs, milk, bread, the basics. I don't want to be in line with people that are getting Coca-Cola, ice cream, shrimp, lobster. No, you know what? Not even steak. We have a problem within this country, and the biggest problem is that I can't remember which expert said it, but that we've seen the problem. The problem is us. You and I are allowing this to happen because nobody has ever stood up and bitched. Well, it's bitching time. If you're so poor, I want my government and I want my tax dollars to make sure that you got a full belly. But I don't want you to be 400 pounds and your spouse to be 400 pounds and your kids to be overweight and you're all fighting diabetes and you're drinking Coca-Cola by the 2-liter because you got SNAP. That's not where the help should be. Maybe take half the SNAP away and give you guys some kind of a physical trainer or actually a what do they call the governmental appointees that check on you and make sure you're getting a job or not. What are we? I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. We can
you're talking about, checking up on them, looking at their jobs and stuff. What was the big problem when they said, "Well, we're going to start drug testing you"? Oh, they didn't like that shit, did they?
They lost their ever-living minds.
You can't drug test me.
Say it. What was the response from the other side?
That's bullshit.
If you don't know it, I'll say it. If I have to pee in a cup to get a job to pay the taxes that pays for your free shit, you should certainly have to pee in a cup to receive such free shit.
Thank you. Sorry.
Is that wrong? I think that's pretty fair.
No, and when they made welfare, they really screwed up. Because I understand the logic behind it, but I don't understand how they let it get so big. This is to help you to step up,
so
not to live off of.
The way you just said that, I'm not saying this is how you should have said it, but what I'm going to say is I do understand, and so do you, why they started social services like this.
Yeah, well,
but to say, how did it go so wrong? Because once you give somebody free shit,
they expect it.
Now you have to coddle to, and now once you use the word free, you started with let's just use the number 10. Let's say the United States of America has 100 citizens and 10 of them needed public assistance and we gave them free assistance. As soon as you use the word free, how many others do you think went, well, shit, that sounds good. All I got to do is be weak, no spine, and jump on that bandwagon. And they start selling it just like they're selling the Democratic ticket now. Come over here, be illegal, and we'll make you a Democrat, and we'll win, and we'll give you more free shit. Listen, y'all, we can't keep giving free shit, or our kids are going to be effed.
Oh yeah, well look at COVID's a prime example. Happened in Texas. Texas finally said, screw you, son of bitches.
Mm-hmm.
They were paying more unemployment than they were actually if they were working every day.
Correct.
So who's going to go back to work?
I,
Nobody. Well, Texas finally realized that and said, benefits are off. You ain't getting that extra $600. And people went back to work.
but see, like I asked you earlier, when I hear problems like that, what you just said, now I already know what that problem is. You already know what that problem is.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are not listening, the real problem is that what David just said, somebody's making more money staying at home than you are making a living. It's because there's something else going on that you're unaware of that somebody else approved to allow that.
Yes.
So when you hear smoke and mirrors, don't just lay your head down at night and go, well, it's not affecting me or my family, my kids,
Yes.
my aunt, my uncles, my community. It's affecting you 100%. And I'm going to give Mike and the Patriot Hour a shout out because I was on the other day. And this is what I mean by that. Go watch the show of Patriot Hour and you'll hear Sheriff Mack tell you what happens when you're not paying attention. Your sheriffs are the most important people in the county, but somehow Connecticut and Washington, Connecticut did it. There's 8 of them gone. There's no more sheriffs in that state, and Washington's trying to do it. And that's my only shout out. But my relevance to that is if you're not paying attention and you just are a darling and go along with sounds good, doesn't affect me today. Next week it might.
So who's the most important person, most powerful person in the county?
The sheriff. The sheriff.
So in Texas, we have 247.
Strongest state in the union, baby.
Okay.
And I'm going to move there if shit gets worse.
Now we have some Democratic sheriffs that ain't worth shit.
They can't help themselves.
But 90% of your sheriffs don't go along with half the bullshit people pass. They won't enforce it because it's bullshit. It's unconstitutional. If you get rid of those people, what Scott's trying to tell you, like one state has, another state's trying to, if you get rid of your sheriffs, whatever your state passes,
They're
God's law. That's God's law. Right.
So what Hurt and I just learned, what I learned the other day, and you all can watch this for yourself, but you go watch that show and you're going to figure out, oh my God, what? So there's smoke and mirrors, right? So this is right back to when he was telling us and telling our show what was going on in Connecticut, like no sheriffs in Connecticut, and now in Washington State, they're trying to. It's not that the question should be, why are they getting rid of the sheriffs? What you have to ask yourself, if you're smart, is, well, geez, if either side, in this case it's the left, is attacking a position, sheriffs, there has to be some importance. So what's the importance? It's not the fact that Connecticut doesn't have any more sheriffs or Washington's about to lose some. It's the fact of if you live in a county that your liberal state decided that there's no more sheriffs, you no longer have somebody protecting you at the very strongest level that you, as an American citizen, deserve and have a right to. In Connecticut, they elected 8 liberal sheriffs, told them before the elections, get elected. We're gonna push it. We're gonna get elected. Then we're gonna call you state representatives at some kind of a level. We'll give you a title. We'll double your wages, but step down and denounce the sheriff's office. And everybody in that county got fucked. Now, some don't care because they love that side. And this ain't a side thing, but let's be real honest. If your sheriff steps down and signs something, let's say in the state of Indiana where I'm at, if all the sheriffs decide with the governor that they're all going to get duly elected and then all going to step down and denounce the seat of sheriffhood, and the governor gets to go, you're all state officials now, we'll double your salaries because that's how they get them to do it. But they must first get them to be liberal because conservatives don't do this. Now, no county has a sheriff. Your rights
are gone.
Got the Patriot.
Your rights are gone.
they got that much smaller. So my answer, and Sheriff Mack said, you're absolutely right. Back when COVID was going on, my family and friends know me. Hertz heard me say it 1,000 times. If I was sheriff in my county, I would have deputized everybody in my county. Why? Because federal and state officers and political appointees did not have to follow the COVID laws.
Correct.
So when you ask yourself, well, I didn't see Nancy Pelosi or even Dr. Fauci, or these are not wearing a mask, they're untouchable because you said they were. You allowed them to be untouchable. But you and I told Sheriff Mack the other day, and heard me say, I might run for sheriff in my county. I don't know that I'm electable. I think I can make a race. I would duly deputize everybody in my county, so they're free of this tyrannical bullshit that the federal government has been spewing on you. And that's what it is.
You think?
Oh, I know. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, but you can't go to mom and pop grocery store or hardware, or you can't go to church, but you could go to Home Depot and Lowe's. What they didn't want is small communities gathering and talking about how they're being fucked over.
You can't go to church. Yep. Can't go to church.
Well, that I would have been, I sure wish somebody would have tried to arrest me going to church.
Oh, yeah.
You know what would have happened there, brother. There have been cameras, gunfire, and I would have won.
Yes.
Constitutional right. The federal government does not get to say, oh, you didn't take a shot, you have to leave the military. You didn't take a shot, you can't go to church. You didn't take a shot, you can't do that. I can go to fucking Lowe's and buy a 2x4, right? Big, huge company, Fortune 500 company. But I can't go down to the hardware store in Walkerton or North Liberty and buy a couple of screws. No, because of COVID. Think about it.
Well, look what they're mandating now in all the medical places in California. For flu season, wear a mask in medical places.
My sister finally left California with her husband.
Do you think that it's going to stop at the medical facilities? No. They're seeing if they can get away with this so they can expand on it. So listen to what I'm saying. I'll bet you $1 to a donut on it. It's going to start in the hospitals, doctors' offices, all that stuff. Then it's going to say, oh, that's working so well there, we're going to expand it out. Then all your corporations are going to do it. Then everybody else is going to do it. So then from November to January, everybody's going to have to wear a mask. But then all of a sudden, here we go again. Now it's going to be November to July because there's something going on. People,
what scares me?
Take a mile.
What scares me is I know who you are, and for those of you that don't know, he's a Marine, and you will call him a Marine when you come on this show or message or call it whatever. Once we get to that, because he is once a Marine, always Marine. My son's a Marine.
Yep.
The problem is there is enough, and I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say percentages. I'd like to believe that the majority, 60, 65, 70% Americans are still, whether they're red or blue, love this country and want to fight for it. And I truly believe that. But the biggest problem is the youth have been indoctrinated. But I've also said on the Patriot Hour and on this show that there's a lot of youth in my area that give me hope and promise. But the biggest problem is evil has no problem regurgitating evil. They know it's wrong. They know it's illegal. They know. I mean, look at the Trump administration. They've hated him. He does good things. They hate him. He could walk on water. They'd say he can't swim. But remove Trump from that. And that's what I try to tell all of y'all. And I'm going to get better at it. I'm not going to use Trump and Republican politicians and priorities as my talking points anymore. What I'm going to talk about is God in your life. Oh, it's not? Well, that's a problem, in my opinion, right? So there's other ways to not necessarily attack, but try to fix the situation. And the situation we have at hand is there's too many people that like free, like lazy, are ungodly, have nothing really going on in their life that they're passionate about. And I would challenge 100% of Americans, even the ones I don't like. Find something you're passionate about, and then you and I can find common ground. Even if you just love gardening. All right, tell me about gardening. Tell me why you're passionate about gardening. I can try to convince you, or you could try to convince me how that affects our lives. If you're passionate, there's a chance that we can get along. But if you got nothing you're passionate about, I'm afraid this conversation's done. And that scares me to death.
No, there's passion out there, but it's all directed in the wrong spots. That's how I feel about it. I mean, it's your 80% rule. When you said that to me, and boy, it just snapped in my head and it stuck with me. You know, we agreed on 80% of the shit.
I know we can.
20% we're never going to agree on. Not even going to get close.
So don't talk about it.
So let's just don't worry about that 20.
Right.
Let's get 80% done.
Let me be the abortion advocate, and you're the Second Amendment. I'd rather it be the other way around because you know my feelings. But
yeah,
what Hurt and I are trying to say is, if I'm pro-abortion, and I know he's pro-Second Amendment, as a adult human being in the United States of America, I know, and all of you and all of us know, I want to be able to have an abortion. That's my core. And Hurt's core is then leave my guns alone. Well, at that point, and I'm not saying I believe in second abortion. I'm not. I'm saying hypothetical. But at that point, that adults, that's the conversation Charlie Kirk was trying to have with people. At that point, that we all say, well, shit, we certainly shouldn't be arguing about the things we know we can't change each other's mind. But that's only like 15, 20%. So for those of you who don't know the 80% rule, 80% of us can agree on 80% of laws and the way things should go. I understand at 45 years old, I cannot convince you to not kill a child. But you also should be responsible and mature enough to understand you can't convince us two guys right here to put down our guns, right? So leave that off the table, right? That's shit that's never going to be dealt with. It'll be used by politicians, but we're not doing it. But 80% of shit, we want jobs, we want health care, we want our kids to have good schooling, we want freedom of religion, we want to walk down the street and be able to say hello. We want all the good things in life. You know why we have the bad shit going on? Because we're arguing about the 20% shit.
Because they have us distracted on it. Just like, I might go ranting here for a second. You say abortion is up to the woman and it's her right, and it's not killing a child, it's just abortion. But if I get into a wreck and I'm drunk and I kill a woman that's pregnant, I'm going to get charged for the murder of that child too. So
manslaughter times 2.
Yes. So
the laws are contradicting. Yeah.
Make it make sense. You can burn the American flag and call it freedom of speech.
Yeah, but hold on.
But you burn the pride flag and it's a hate crime.
Right. Thank you.
Let's knock off the nonsense. Because if I see you burning an American flag, we got problems. I'm just going to tell you right. There's going to be problems.
We're going to have a Tulsa problem.
We're going to have a big Tulsa problem. I'm not going to sit there and watch somebody burn American flag.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Hurt, because this is the ultimate defense that every one of you that are constitutionalists, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, but we're Americans first, right? Correct. If you want the right to burn a flag, then you must endure the pain that comes from those that fight for that flag that are going to endure upon you, right? And if you want the right to say, my body, my right, your next administration cannot say, take the fucking needle or get out of the military or don't do this, right? I mean, my body, my right. Where does that stop? Where does that start? But certainly the American flag and the needle pushing shit is not talked about enough. Fly an American flag or don't. I don't care. I fly one. If you burn mine, I'm going to shoot you because you're already on my property. But if you step on one and burn one in front of me, whatever, you'll find out. But
thank you.
You certainly don't get to say, I have the right, my body, my right. And women, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be antagonistic, but your body, your right is the same as Hurt and I's body and our right during COVID. And there were a lot of military people, a lot of citizens that were told, if you don't take this shot, you're out of the military, or we're going to fire you, or this, or they portrayed you as a fucking monster and came upon your home and yelled and screamed. And they do that in the cities. They certainly, I would love for somebody to knock on my door. Oh man, you didn't take the shot. You're a monster. Right. But think about it before you bitch and the news media convinces you to get your emotions all wound up. How about you think about why they are trying to get you wound up and what else might be at play? Because my body, my right, y'all play that shit out way too long. Then COVID happened and you ain't got a fucking leg to stand on.
Nope. None. Zero.
I'm sorry. Lord, I'm sorry. But you ain't.
You're correct. No, you're correct, Scott. 100. You're 100%.
I can have an abortion, but you have to take the shot. In what effing world
does that make
work?
Sense? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Hurt, you know me. If they could look, I think if they could help me be sane, you know I would take that pill.
Oh yeah.
But they can't.
They can't. They can't. It's folks. World gone to hell in a handbasket.
You know what? God, family, faith.
Oh, I still got faith. Still got my family. Still got God.
It's scary. It is scary, but I have faith. I have one of the most, and my sister is following Garden Jess. And we don't always agree. And she might even text in and say, no, we certainly don't. I bet her and I agree 75% of the time. But as we get older, we find ourselves tolerating each other. But what she could honestly always say is, he cares. And I know she cares. And that is my theme. I don't have to like you or agree with your lifestyle. But can we protect the Constitution? That's all I care about. We can argue about, hey, your cows are getting in my field and my cows are getting, but let's not talk about taking each other's rights away.
Correct.
80% rule.
80%.
Sorry for partying.
I'm sorry. Make it make sense.
Y'all let some stupid guy from Indiana, redneck, come up with the 80% rule, and I've been preaching it for years. And
I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it.
There's people using it. I heard General Flynn use it. I heard Clay Clark use it. The minute Donald Trump uses it, I'm gonna copyright the shit out of that.
You need to do it now before you start using it. Yeah. Folks, it's scary out there right now, and we're gonna go down some rabbit holes here in the next few weeks. We're gonna deep dive more into Building 7. We're going to deep dive.
Building 7. Give me some Building 7. Give me some Building 7.
We're going to deep dive a little bit about
triangle.
So the triangle. And if y'all don't know about that,
don't give it away because you already know I'm going to get crucified.
Oh yeah, but
we got the triangle and the pyramid and the eye on the dollar. Hurt and I are going to tell you where the eye on the dollar and the triangle is at. It's been talked about for hundreds of years.
Yeah. And then we're going to go down to South America and talk about that, what's going on down there.
Triangle.
Yeah, it's big. It's big, people. You're gonna open your eyes.
Garden
You're
jet.
gonna get
See, hey, listen, folks. Even hardly agree, but full of love for each other. That's where her and I find ourselves now. We don't hate it. I absolutely adore her. She was one of my best friends growing up. She was my best friend, but we disagree on some things, and it's not because she's blue or I'm red. It's just principle. But when you get her and I in a room and talk about God, family, shit that really matters, we agree 100%. But when we talk about worldly things, we tend to disagree, and that's fine. And her and I are trying to figure out how we can disagree without slapping each other or getting, and we're getting better at it. Uh, I will proudly say that humbly, I was terrible at trying to convince my siblings of my views for a long time. And like I told you a couple of weeks ago, it is what it is. I'm not here to fight no more. My fight is over as far as trying to convince people.
What does Jess mean that she's green?
What's that?
Jess said that she's green.
She's green. She's super mellow. I call it mellow yellow. I don't know.
Or is she green as in?
She loves the earth. She loves the planet. She loves
Okay.
science. She loves
Now,
cleanliness.
Jess, I'm going to shock you on this, Jess.
Don't insult her.
I'm not insulting her. Jess, I have no problem with green. No problem. But we're not ready for it. We're just not ready for it. We're so far away. Look what happened in California. The rolling blackouts. What happened? They took down their big coal plants, and now they have rolling blackouts.
Now they push more electrical vehicles, and you can't sustain it.
Our grid cannot handle green.
Correct.
We're not ready. I'm all about green. I'll go there, but we have to take it slowly.
I think the next time I talk to my sister, I'll have this conversation with her because I know what she means, and she's not one of these weirdo green people. She just means love life, take care of each other, but make the most minimal impact as far as you and me hurt, right? As far as, let's just say me, consume less, trash less, make, I'm saying she's not radical. She's actually opened my mind a little bit. She brought me back to the middle to where, okay, it's not that she's saying batteries are great, because if she does her research, she knows batteries are terrible for the planet. What she's saying is we all have a conversation and let's all agree that the best way, let's leave this place
better than we found it.
Amen. And I think
I'm good with that.
I think she's about to say amen. And Jess, if you're hearing, amen.
Amen. I mean,
that's the answer.
But it's my whole problem is though, is they pushed green so hard, and man, we're not ready for it. We are just get here.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic. That was Gore and the 5-star Energy Act. And y'all, if you want to challenge me, I'm HVAC electrical guy. You're not going to convince me that the 5-star Energy Act was not bullshit, because it was.
Well, you talk about Gore. What is it, 5 years? Google this, people. You got to Google this. This was funny as hell.
I love you, sis. This is about to get stupid. There we go. He's going to get me worked up, and I'm going to tell you what I think of Gore after him.
5 or 6 years ago, if not a little bit longer, climate change, glaciers are melting. He takes a bunch of his people up to the pole, and guess what? It was middle of summer. We had to get a Chinese icebreaker to get them out because they got
July. Why do we need an icebreaker in July? I watched the video of him bitching like, it's July. I thought the pole was melting. He literally said it on video. That's when I knew that the media was controlled because Al Gore fucked up and said, it's the middle of July. Why do we need an icebreaker? I thought this shit was melting. And CBS, NBC, CNN, nobody talked about it.
No, but it don't take a college education to figure it out.
No, it takes a little bit more than Heinz ketchup, though.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard at that. Like, yeah, really.
When I watched that video, and folks, I'm telling you, I don't think it's on the internet no more. But for 2 or 3 years, Mike and I even did a couple of shows, and I'll bring Mike up on this. Good for you, Hurt, for bringing that up.
Yep.
Al Gore literally went to the North Pole, and in the middle of July was questioning why we needed icebreakers, because he was told by his people, this is Vice President of the United States, that is claiming we got climate warming, right, going on, global warming. Why do we need an icebreaker? Why can't I get to, he wanted drastically to get to the North Pole easily across water, and guess what didn't happen?
He got stuck.
He got way stuck, and he fucked up and said, why the, because he was wrong. He was wrong. And a lot of people out there, and I'm telling you, half the planet, I'm guessing, at least a third of the planet went, we got a global warming problem. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
But you know what the Heinz family and him got? Because he married into the Heinz family, the ketchup family.
Yeah.
The 5-Star Energy Act made the Heinz family $517 million. 517. Because they invested in 5-Star Energy windows, 5-Star Energy siding, water heaters. The Heinz family. You could call me a liar. I'm not an idiot. This is why Pelosi also got rich. She spews what she wants, and idiots are like, well, she don't make much more than me.
The government
she makes more than the average person, but she makes more than me.
The government
and she made $188 million fucking dollars in 5 years, and my portfolio grew 12 grand. So then Trump wins, they investigate, and now here's Pelosi going, you've indicted 5 people. Sure as hell. Yeah, you're next, bitch. Sorry for partying.
Sorry for partying. No, it's the only people get rich off of green energy right now is certain individuals that own certain companies.
And by the way, Hurt, you'll support me on this for whoever's listening. Fuck the rhinos too.
Oh God, we got one we're getting out of Texas. Hopefully this year.
Again, you're not going to catch me and Hurt going Republican, Democrat. We're constitutionalists. So McConnell, you're a piece of shit. Bye.
Cornyn, Texas, Cornyn.
Oh, prison.
Cornyn. You should see all the ads he's running in Texas. I voted for Trump 99%. No, you haven't. You lying son of a bitch. You're totally against Trump.
10%
totally against Trump. But when Trump won, oh, now I'm with Trump. Get the hell out of here. I want Wesley Hunt. If you somehow watch this show, I want you to come on this show.
Hey, Jess, thank you. Grow food, take care of your family, more love, less hate. Amen. That Hurt. You want to tell my sister? It was a couple of weeks ago. I caught you off guard, and I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to. And Hurt's like, holy smokes.
I was proud of him.
He was worried about doing this show with me because I have the tendency to get real agitated and violent. And I said, no, my goal now is peace, love, happiness at the constitutionalist level. That doesn't, peace, love, and happiness is a relic prototype of the 60s, 70s of hippie Democrats. But I can love peace and happiness and God and hope the best for everybody. And Hurt, you go ahead and say what that night. I know what you said to me. You're like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I was floored, but I appreciate it, and I hope it works, and I hope you come through on it. You know me, I can get pissy real quick. I can lose my temper, but I think about stuff. And if you can prove me, I'm the same way as you. You just act. You tee off a lot faster than I do. You got like a 2 second fuse. I got like a
There's a word they use for me, and it starts with ab, but what's the word?
anal hemorrhoid disorder.
Asshole.
Well, anal hemorrhoid. No, same thing. Anal hemorrhoid disorder.
But
Yeah.
my wife will tell you, my sister will even tell you, if you got me, and you know me now, but if the community had to ask what kind of guys, I'll be there for you. You know, that's what I do, as long as it's biblical or patriotic and it's right. But you ain't gonna convince me to go down there and rob a gas station, or convince the neighbors they should change to being Muslim, or convince the neighbors that they should impede on my privacy. No, if you follow the Constitution, what's the old song? You have a friend in me.
Jess. That's a good one, Jess.
Okay, I was
I
thinking.
like that, Jess. Thank you. Thank you, sis.
But she says, hey, listen, she next to my wife, I
Oh.
got brothers and I got a mom. My dad is passed, and her, but next to my wife, that is the most important person in my life, because she keeps me even keeled, even when I know I think I'm right, or even when I think I know I'm right,
Yeah.
it challenges me. And in my youth and in her youth, we handled it wrong. We're getting better. Uh, there's some health shit going on with me, and I know she's concerned. Sis, I love you, and keep challenging me. You're making me better, and I love you. And that's all. I don't know what else to say. She's great.
Folks, all I'm going to say is you can change my mind, but you got to show me facts.
Correct.
Show me facts. That's all you have to do. I'm old. I'm grumpy. I'm a Marine. It's hard to change my mind. I'm set in my ways. I'll be the first one to admit that. But if you can prove you're wrong,
you think too much, feel more. It's good for you, sis. You know what I'm going through. I don't want to feel more. My nerves are shot, and
yeah,
disease. But I don't know what she's saying. But I'll end it tonight, or you can, because you're in control of the studio. Well, let's talk about the dumpster diving uh, Grinch, Sesame Street. What was the guy in the trash can? I can't. The green guy.
Cookie Monster?
Oh, who?
Not the Cookie Monster.
No. Come on, somebody help me. The green guy in the trash can had an elephant's nose always coming out. Oh my God, Oscar the Grouch. So I used to be, and I admit to this, sis, and I bet she'll laugh at this. So I was laying in bed the other night, and I had done some THC, and I was reflecting. I used to be Oscar. I used to worry about every effing thing and try to have a solution for every effing thing. And I was mad about every effing thing. That was Oscar. And that son of a bitch lived in a trash can, right? He was miserable. I refused to be miserable. So I'm doing this with hurt. I'm growing. I'm aging. I'm learning. Going through some medical shit myself. I ain't no Oscar no more. So my goal is that we convince people that we're okay. We got problems. We do have problems. Now there's some big ones, but I think it's manageable. If I can change, like Rocky, right? The Russian. If I could change, we all could change. But I do mean that. And my sister would be one of the people that will tell you, if I'm willing to tell you, I'm willing to change. We all can change. We don't need 100% of the people agreeing with each other. We
No.
just need 70 to 80% of us to just get along.
Yes, let's all get along.
The Grouch.
I don't want you to get as mellow as me. People, I'm a hermit. I'm a hermit. Scott knows that. He's trying to break me out of my shell. I got so tired of dealing with people. I closed off the world for a long time.
But you got to deal with it, man. I mean, that's what God put us here to do.
Well, I am dealing with it. I'm doing this. I'm dealing with it.
You're doing a great job. Hey, y'all. A year ago or 2 years ago, there's no way I would not do this show with this guy, and he wouldn't do it with me either.
No, nope.
So it's not a bash to him. He knew I was radical. He watched me in Tulsa. I don't give a shit. And I watch this guy like, he don't fight enough, right? But we found middle ground. So if Hurt and I can find middle ground, simplify to Hurt. And now we even have my sister. She's trying to say the same thing. Hurt's watch me make this movement. Normally, you watch some old Patriot Hour stuff. Oh man, I went on tirades, but I didn't get across to people. So like when Charlie Kirk was killed, and Hurt knows, and my sister knows, I recently in the last year was ordained. That means something to me. Charlie Kirk was way, way better, way stronger, got his message across better. All he wants to do is talk. So Hurt and I was like, well, how about we start a show and just talk? And I know he was worried about me just talking, and I promised him. And I even said it on the first show or two. I'm good. I don't want to fight no more.
No. And I'll be the first to boot you out of the room. If you come in talking trash, I'll be the first one to boot you. Because I'm too old to put up with all that crap. You know?
I'm just tired.
If we can treat each other with respect, that's the number one thing. I respect you, you respect me. We can get a lot accomplished. But if we come in knocking heads and fighting, nothing's ever going to get done. So
look what Jess just said.
Respect.
We're spiritual beings having a human experience. It's complicated. Amen. It's complicated. Hey, her and I that's my sister.
Yeah.
And she has struck me, and I almost wanted to strike. I love that woman. She is my first bestest friend. But she's absolutely right. It is complicated.
It's very
This is why you heard me say weeks and maybe a couple of months ago, I'm done. I'm done fighting. How do we fix stuff? Instead of fighting, fighting's easy, right? The Bushes did it. The Kennedys did it. The entire world has done it for thousands of years. Let's just fight. You know what's hard and complicated? Sitting down.
We're having a conversation.
If you don't want to have a conversation, then I know I got a problem. But if you're willing to have a conversation, we have a chance. And I was never on that side, Hurt. I never was. And
no, you weren't. The day when I met you, you weren't.
I beat you into my submission, but now I'm like, wait a minute. 80% of us can get along.
Something about nose rings, hogs, and Indiana, something. I remember something about that. But yeah,
that's a Tulsa thing. Don't you dare say it in front of my sister. That was a rough night in Tulsa, but hey, who didn't go down?
Oh, yeah. Hello, social deviant. Welcome to the show.
Did it say sins or sirs?
Who? It says sirs. It says good evening, sirs.
Oh, look at my sister. Well, Scott can talk, but listening is a new trick for the boy. I'm working at it. And
leave that to me, sis. I'm working hard. I'm working hard.
I knew I couldn't do this with David if I didn't learn to listen. But outside of David, it's time for me to start listening. I can't beat people into submission.
No, but I understand. Yeah, we're getting.
Oh, it's Tree. It's my ex-neighbor.
Is it?
He can speak for me better than most people on the planet. Love you, Tree.
Yeah, but it's
son of a gun.
I'm smart. I'm smarter than Scott. And the reason I say it, all this gray hair. See that gray hair? It's called wisdom. See all that gray hair? That's wisdom.
Tree, help me out.
You ain't got enough of it yet.
Tree, help me out. There ain't no way this mother. You want to lay on top of me for the way I handle my rig?
No, but we get along. We get along. It's all good.
Love you too, brother. Appreciate you. That is, he just moved away from me, and Hurt's been out to my place. I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And when he moved, it sucked. It sucked. But the fact that he just reached out after, I don't know what, year and a half, 2 years. That's one of my best friends. He was my neighbor. We rode together. How do you?
It's a, it's. Sit. I don't think you want to get into that.
Trucker
Just
clock.
don't start that on here because you know people are gonna be asking
It's
questions.
a Bob and Tom thing. It's not clock. It's minus the L.
Trucker, yeah. How do you handle your rig?
Lay on
Rig.
top of me for the way I handle my rig.
18-wheeler
All right,
rig.
now shut up. Now shut up. Right.
Oh,
You guys would have to cross platform Bob and Tom trucker clock.
who wants it?
And it was talk to Teddy Bear.
That's it.
And I'm gonna leave that alone because I could offend a whole lot of people. But go to Bob and Tom and trucker clock. Who wants it? Talk to Teddy Bear, and you'll laugh your ass off. Tree, you son of a gun.
Yeah, divorce.
His divorce is a bitch. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
that's how he met me. I got divorced.
Tree, I've had two. I know where you're coming from.
You've met Tree.
Yeah.
Tree, you've met her, right? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I think we seen each other when I was up there, wasn't it?
He's the big son bitch. He says, you know what? We had a dying guy at the American Legion, at another Legion, and he says, that guy that transferred down there to your local Legion, he's wearing our jacket, and he's a child molester, and I'm giving
No,
it all.
I remember that night. That was a bad night, wasn't it?
Well, you say Tree, Hurt remembers it. Tree's like, let's go, take me to your club, and I took him down, and Tree walked in, and he goes, listen, here's what's going to happen. You're going to give it to me, or I'm going to take it. And then the whole bar, not the whole bar, but a lot of them start saying, Phil, you better calm your guy down. I'm like, no. He's taking that fucking jacket. That's a child molesting son of a bitch. And Tree, all he said was, give me the jacket or I'm taking it. And I'm looking at all my local people going, y'all don't want this. And they did. They stepped out. This guy acted like he was a chaplain at one Legion. And then they booted him out. And that was a buddy that Tree and I ended getting. He was dying of cancer. And he goes, all I want before I die is make sure that guy ain't wearing our jacket anymore. And Tree went, we got to go. And that was the first time my neighbor Tree, I'm the rowdy son of a bitch. That's the first time ever that Tree said, I got this. Let's go. I'm taking that. I'm getting that jacket back. That guy's dying up here. His last wish is take his jacket back. Tree didn't give two shits. This big motherfucker walked in there acting like he owned the fucking planet. And because it was my Legion, my hometown, when we walked in there, Tree had all the confidence. And Tree, if I'm telling the story wrong, you just chime in. My mom was there, so she might be watching. My sister's obviously watching. And Tree went, hey, give me the fucking jacket. And the guy spoons around, who are you? It doesn't matter who you. And Tree just, you're going to do one of two things. You're giving it or we're taking it. And Tree, if I'm not wrong, we left with that fucking jacket, didn't we?
Wow.
Please respond. I can't wait. He says, fuck that. See, he says, fuck that, dude.
Yep.
Well, that cost me a lot of shit because they ended up sending the cops to my house and telling me I can't go. You nailed it. You goddamn right I did, Tree. I miss you.
What did you just say? You better look upstairs and apologize.
I don't apologize for shit. As long as you're doing right, you ain't got to apologize.
I'm talking for something else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Social deviant. That was literally when I moved into my house, and then I met my neighbor, and he's the deviant, but he's Tree to me. He's a brother to me, and I love that he's here. And we went through some things. I love him, and then there was some political shit that happened, but I still love him, and he knows I fucking love him, and I'm gonna say it out here, and I hope you tell all your fucking brothers I love you, bro. But the fact that night, that guy at that Legion was dying of cancer. And he told Tree, go get that jacket. And Tree looked at me and said, take me to that Legion. And all I did was take him there. And Tree did the work. And it was beautiful. He literally walked into that Legion and just told the guy, I'm taking that jacket one way or another, and I'm going, I got a boner. I mean, I'm sitting here going, I couldn't believe Tree had the balls to do it, but he showed he had the balls to do it. He did it. And we were in a perfect situation. Nothing happened. There were some guys yelling you. They weren't gonna do shit. But my man, social deviant, I'm giving you a shout out. I miss you. I love you. But that's top 10 in my life. You did something you said you were gonna do, and I supported you on it, and we did it. So good for you.
Ted was there too.
My brother Ted was there, but that's fine. But you did the work. You said you were going to do something.
So you had Tree, Ted, and you there
in the same room. You want to fuck around? Tree, comment.
Well, go ahead and find out, folks. FAFO.
I hope my mom's watching, or my wife. Tree, yeah. If me, you, and Ted are in the same room, and somebody fucks with one of us, tell them, Tree. Tell them, social.
Folks. Now look, I got to tell you something about Scott's family.
Oh, I don't fight.
I would walk through fire and coals with Scott and his brothers because I know for a fact we would make it through. That's a tight family right there. I don't come from one. I've met Scott's family, most of them.
Little Joe, shit.
I'm telling you what, that family's good to go. I consider them mine. Whether they consider me theirs.
No, you're considered. Look what Tree just said. It would be a bad day for them.
Yes, it would.
I was listen. Number one, this is not look at me.
No.
First of all, I thought the entire way we were there because he's new. Like he asked me to help him learn how to ride. And Tree, if I'm wrong, shut me up. But he's like, fuck, I want to learn how to ride. So we start riding together, and we joined this little club. And then, well, fuck the club. It was personal shit. It was me and Tree's relationship with this guy from a different legion that was dying that we both love, and we were trying to raise money. And he says, I just want that jacket back. And Tree goes, let's go. And I went, for y'all that listen to this show, that's gonna be our new commentary, because when Tree said that, I went, all right. And I knew he had it in him, but I had no idea. We walked out because our legion is my local legion. You got to go down in the basement. It's a dungeon. And Tree didn't hesitate. He just walked up and he told the guy, I'm taking that jacket with me or I'm going to peel it off you. So either give it to, and everybody starts yelling at me like, oh, your buddy's in there causing a problem. I'm like, there is no problem. But that jacket is coming with Tree. And one of my, and I won't say his name, he said, Philly, you need to stop this. I'm like, no. This is the first animalistic man attitude I've seen in a couple of, like a man doing what he's supposed to do. And Tree didn't stop. He didn't stop. And that child molesting son of a bitch made excuses. And Tree's like, I don't give a shit. And I'm calling him Tree because whatever. I ain't going to say his real name. And I fell in love with the man that day. Because if I was him, I would have shot the guy in the fucking head in front of everybody and went, I'll do 20 years in prison. And Tree did the opposite. He got the cut. And what's he saying?
Remember getting with those dudes at the bowling alley. He's going to bring back some more stories, I have a feeling.
Well, that's Tree, you're bringing up my bullshit, but you bowled with me. These motherfuckers ran their mouth. And Tree backed himself up and said, fuck you. And these guys said, fuck you and fuck Philly. And I text somebody. And we had bikers galore throwing chairs. And it was in your fucking face. Like, you want to fuck with these two? We'll kill you right now. And Tree are like, you done fucked up now? Tree, how many times you get hit that night? I got hit once, and I told the guy, don't fucking touch me, and then spooked through that guy 150 feet. Oh, the stories we share.
We might have a.
I love this dude. I miss him. And there's rules of engagement and rules of talking and hanging out and Tree. I know you hate this, but fuck rules. You're my brother.
Yeah.
But that bowling alley night, it was 2 on 5 or 6. I make one text message. We had the whole fucking clan there, and it was fucking over with.
That's the way it goes.
They're gonna yank my money from me, Hurt. They're gonna yank my money.
Well, ain't nobody yanking nothing from you, and I'm.
Hey, Treat, did they yank my money? I told the guy too. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? This is a stupid. This is the stupidest thing you could do. Well, I know you got money, Philly, so I'm going to take that money. I'm like, well, yeah.
Don't think so.
Well, you know what I said, Hurt?
What do you think?
Oh, Tree, you made my fucking day. Hurt, I don't hear from Tree much anymore, but this is huge for me.
Well, that's why I'm letting this go. That's why I'm letting this go a little bit longer. I don't got much more time.
That was my next door neighbor.
Right.
Hasn't been my neighbor for, I don't know, year and a half, somewhere around there. Still reaches out to me. But tonight, he'll get reprimanded if he gets caught. I'm thinking. Fuck those little bitches. Let's go. I love you, Tree. I get to say it on the internet. I don't care. I didn't say anybody's names, no club affiliation, but I love you and I appreciate what you're doing. And I know at what risk you're doing this. So for that, love you that much more. And Hurt if you don't understand that.
I understand what you're saying.
He stayed with the group. I left the group, and he's not supposed to really talk to me.
I got you.
But that's what brothers do. That's what American patriots do.
That's right.
Those little bitches. Look at it. Peace sign. My man. My man.
All right, Scott.
Getting late, old man?
Yeah, I got. Well,
I'd rather stay on just because Social Deviant's on. Because he was hurt, That's John. That's my name. Yeah. That's my best friend.
Yeah.
And he's gone. And I fucking hate it. But hey, let's learn to love each other. Let's not be Democrat, Republican, get centered, aisle, be constitutionalists. Love the country, love the planet, love what you can do all that love and silly shit you want. But at some point, let's all come together. Something's worth fighting for. And this country and our way of rights are worth fighting for. And I'll fight with a liberal or a conservative. But don't get in my foxhole and tell me you're a woman and you're a dude and you're a dude that's a woman, or don't tell me you're a right-wing conspiracist that this is all. Just stop. Everybody should just chill out and do the 80% rule. Amen.
Amen. And we're going to stick by that, and y'all are going to hear about that a lot. And you might come to understand it.
John Stevens, love you. Sherry, thanks for promoting this and pushing us to do this talk. Hurt, promoting the shit out of you. Mike, Patriot Hour, push the shit out of this. And the rest of you, just love each other.
So, subscribe, like, tell your friends. The more the better. Let's get a group of patriots together. Sound like a plan?
Love y'all.
Love you. We ready to go, Scott?
Kill it.
All right. Peace out, y'all.